Nothing beats the foot for any feat that you want to complete. The miracle of the human foot with 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments, 33 bones, 26 joints, all elegantly designed to absorb impact and to generate spring-like energy, rotational kinetic energy, to allow you to locomote both walking and running. So when we allow feet to be feet, that's when we can harness this amazing potential with all the harmonious interaction of the various parts. So let's discuss what the foot does in the human running stride. We are going to land in the midfoot, forefoot area. Not that heel strike that we talked about that's promoted when you're wearing an elevated shoe, but we land right here up at the metatarsals, and when we land, the metatarsals and the toes are allowed to splay at impact. That means spread wide to absorb the impact. Also, when that big toe and the other toes grab the ground, we are now exhibiting a balanced center of gravity where our knee, hip, shoulder, everything is balanced, and all our body weight is balanced over one foot when we're running, right? Because one foot's off the ground when we're running, unlike walking, a little bit different dynamics. But when we land and absorb 3 to 4 times body weight, maybe 5 times if you're Usain Bolt, 3 to 4 times body weight on each stride, we land with that balanced center of gravity because of that stable base of the forefoot, midfoot area and the splaying and grabbing of the toes. So we hit the ground there, then our arch flattens, our foot dorsiflexes. This is dorsiflex, tightening that angle. The arch flattens and tightens, and that is called the windlass mechanism. It's a sailing term describing the tightening of a rope, the tauting of a rope. So now the arch is lengthened, the longitudinal arch is lengthened and is tight. The Achilles tendon touches the ground while the foot is dorsiflexed, and the spring-like potential of the Achilles tendon is also coiled. We are also coiling muscles throughout our calves and our entire extremities. Then when it's time to push off, we have harnessed all this rotational kinetic energy. There's some pronation going on. You know that term because we talk about pronating as a bad thing. What that really means is overpronating, collapsing the arch too much. And so you get shoes with motion control and all that nonsense. But pronation is key to harnessing that rotational kinetic energy in the stride. So when I'm down on the ground, I've kind of turned inward a little bit with that pronating effect. The Achilles is coiled, the arch is coiled, and when that toe grabs for takeoff, guess what that is the trigger for? That's right, the engagement of the glutes is driven by the planting, the dorsiflexion of the big toe. That's important because the glutes are the biggest, strongest muscle in the body, and they are used for very little except for running. They're not really engaged during the walking stride. They're not engaged when you're sitting at your desk. And we need those powerful gluteus muscles to propel us with rotational kinetic energy forward. So the toe grabs, and when it's time to take off, the Achilles springs off the ground. The foot starts to plantar flex. This is dorsiflex, plantar flex, and by the time it's taken off, the toes are plantar flex, the foot's plantar flexed, and we've initiated the next stride where we again land with a balanced center of gravity, harness all that rotational kinetic energy with the coiling of the arch, the Achilles tendon, the grabbing of the toes, and then yet another takeoff. So that's how the foot works through the running stride. And guess what? Virtually everything I described is nullified or greatly compromised when you're wearing shoes. The Achilles is not allowed to touch down all the way because remember, you're in that elevated heel. So your Achilles is only working halfway on every stride. Your toes and feet are not allowed to splay when you land to absorb impact gracefully. So instead, the impact gets inappropriately dispersed throughout the lower extremities, the lower back, all the things that ache after you do a long hike or a long run. Not so if you get your feet strong and get them back into the game.